Welcome back to a very basic space program. It is episode 32 and you find us in orbit. Krasnova is in orbit and we're going to be going for rendezvous today. So last episode we had the launch of our new launcher, which should be able to put about 3 tons in orbit. Now we're going to try something new and rendezvous. So please join me. Right, you find us in orbit and we are ready to rendezvous. Now this is the bit where I need to be very careful because we've got about 25 hours of supplies on here because we need to get down after doing all of this. So let's have a look. Can I focus you on the Earth? That's easier, right? So we're now focused on the Earth. If you double click on the planet, it will actually do that. If you hit the, for me it's the @ key, will bring it back to your craft. So we'll do that. We're now focused on the Earth. This is our target. We're ahead of it. We're in a higher orbit. It's not a perfect orbit. I would have loved it to be 300 by 300, but it does mean that we are basically going to take longer to go around the planet. This means that our target is going to catch up with us, but we don't know how quickly. So we're going to put a maneuver node on the ascending node. I always do it on the ascending node because then inclination doesn't matter when you're doing all of this playing around. So we're going to add a maneuver, and I'm going to pull back until I get there. Nope, a bit more, come on, there we go. So we've got a closest approach there. So the closest approach there is not too bad. It takes 13 meters per second. We may have a bit too much delta V here, but we'll play with it. I prefer to go heavy on the delta V than not. So now we're going to go forward 1 orbit. Okay, and what we can do is pull this over and we can actually see, so we're within a lot. There's a long distance there, so we'll keep doing that. That's closest approach 1,000 kilometers. Do another one. What's that tell me? Closest approach is, in fact, separation. There we are. Closest approach is 900. So let's do another one. Relative separation 150. Ooh, now if I do another one, it's gone up. So we know that actually we're close. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little move. We're going to move our maneuver now, and you can see the numbers going down. 120, 120, 190, 180, 170, 160. And then we lost it right there. Come on, there it is. Oh, actually it's not showing me because we lost it. There we go. Now 170, 170. There we go. So we lose it there. So that's as good as it gets. Now we know that we're actually not going to be inclined properly for this, so we're going to play around a bit. We're going to go put it onto low. This little scale here on the left at the bottom. This will actually dictate how powerful your little presses on these things are. So I want to just check that actually we can't make it any better. Right, we're not making it any better by doing that. So that's as good as that's going to get. So what about, first of all, inclination. So actually we'll put it back up a bit stronger. We'll go, what happens to it if I move my inclination? I would really like my inclination to be on that marker, is what I really want, and that's about where it is, which is good. Now we're going to do these radial ones. Let's have a look. Oh, we've lost it. So there we go, we've got it back. Now what that tells me is, because I've only got one marker, there is only one interaction point. So if I was actually to zoom into it, we can actually see that, yeah, we're actually below it. Above it, yeah, we're above it. So if I do it again, yeah, we need to be careful that we don't just lose the marker. And so by doing all of this, we're just going to walk it. We just basically are walking it in. Basically just slowly walking it in. And you can take your time with this. You can get the MechJeb to do it, I think. I think you can get it to, with the rendezvous planner, it will actually do all the planning for you, but it is worth just learning this. Sometimes you need to walk these things just a smidgen for yourself. There you go. Down to 7, 5. And you'll see that it plays around a little bit. And so we're within 1. And now we've got a second encounter. So that means that we're actually dipping below and then coming back up again. So you see our periaps is now here. So those are on either side of our periaps. So that's actually really interesting to see. We may also note that descending node is not near it, so we can play with the descending node a bit. There we go. That's nearer now, 700 meters. Wonderful. We're going to pull this down to be a bit more accurate, and then we're going to continue to play around with these things a bit. I want to go this way, actually, don't I? Or do I? Ooh, we may be as close as we can get with this. Right. So now I need to play with the descending node just a little bit. Pull the descending node back. There we go. The descending node is important, and then we're going to do this again. We're going to move these around a bit. We're going to press there within 2 meters. Okay. And then can we go that way? That's going to go the wrong way. 150 meters. 100 meters. 190. No, don't want that. 104. 85. 50. 50. No, 92. 23. There we go. I think that's close enough, don't you? 23 meters. We can do something once we get there. Right. So that's going to be our burn. Single burn. 38 meters per second. We can do that nice and easily. We'll use the RCS once we get there, and we'll just use a little thrust from our engines. We could actually just put a single one on. I didn't realize it was going to be this easy. The difference is, however, does it show us? There we are. Relative speed. And this is important. This first maneuver is important because it gets us near it. But once we get near our target, we have to basically kill our relative velocity. We have to be the same speed, same velocity as the craft that we're coming towards. Otherwise, we're just going to go flying off again, and you'll see we'll just head off back out again, and we'll never see them. To get onto that same path, to actually stay near them, we're going to have to use a bit of fuel. And interestingly, it's actually it's actually more for that than it is for our actual first rendezvous burn. So you need to remember that. Yeah. So that's going to be, we're going to be spending close to 100 meters per second doing this. So me having 500, it's a bit overkill. But if I'd have, one of the things I was aware of is, if we hadn't have launched as close to this because of our time limits, if we were half an orbit out, I don't think we would have had enough time unless we got a nice upper orbit to actually rendezvous. So you need to be aware of that. Right. So we're going to take 5 hours and 49 minutes before we actually do this first burn. And then when we've got that done, we can move on to the next one. So I am going to fast forward time now. First of all, we'll just check that the craft's okay. Are we okay? Is everybody okay? Krishnova, what are you are just ecstatic right now, aren't you? My lord. Right. I believe these are active, but there's an easy way to find out. Alright, they are not. So let's activate them. There we go. Our RCS is on, but I'm going to turn it off for now because I don't need to orientate the craft just yet. And what I'm also going to do is, because now we've learned this works, I'm going to turn that on. And that means that when I do turn that off, when I do that, if I do anything, it will do it for me. So that's good. Right, let's do the time warp. I'm sure that's a song. Yeah, that in fact is a song. Right, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put his back onto me. I've hit the at key, so you can see that we've got that L4 TV closing up ever so quickly there, isn't it? See there? See the gap closing every time we go around orbits? It's getting closer, just getting closer. The joy of rendezvous. Right, and we're going to come around. I think this is going to be our one, yes. So you can see now it's almost caught up with us, which is wonderful. In fact, we've got signal between the two of us. That is brilliant. We're actually able to communicate. Thank you very much for that little alarm there. Right. So we can do this a few ways. You can just get your craft to use Smart SAS to do this. I'm actually going to just click on Node and then hit R. There we go. Because we know that the craft doesn't have to do anything silly. I don't need to do anti-direction or anything like that. Right. It says it's going to take 29 seconds. It probably is right about that. So we're gonna go with it, and we're also going to look at this because we need to be aware of this. This is going to be key to us. We would rather stop it sooner and then do a little more burn afterwards than go too far, because we don't have all direction, all axes RCS on this, I don't believe. So we need to be aware of that. I'm actually thinking, does this, let's show activation toggles. We have roll, pitch, and yaw. We don't have port starboard, we don't have dorsal ventral, and we don't have fore aft. So those are the three that you really want if you're doing this. So this craft is still not perfect for this. I should have put some actual RCS ports on here to allow us to do that, but maybe in the future. Maybe we'll wait for our next capsule, which will be a bit more capable. I hope we'll do something a bit more capable with it. So start burning 1 minute. I don't think we need to. Yeah, let's just get towards the time where I need to do it. Right. So we're going to hold ourselves. Now the nice thing about this is that by being on node, you don't need to worry about watching that much during the burn. That's actually important. It saves you a lot. So it's going to predict our burn time right on either side, and I don't know if I like that. By the way, do you like the... yeah, I did it in gold, and then I changed the gold to red, and I didn't change the style to normal metal, which means it looks a bit weird. But I will live with it. I will accept that that is interesting. It's obviously some interesting metal that we coat our stuff with in our space program, obviously. Right, we're going to start our burn any second. We're going to keep our eyes down here, and we're going to look at this as well. So, starting the burn, there we go. And it's going to take a little bit of time. Now, Krasnova is not really focused on this at all, are you? You don't really mind what's going on. It's great. It's lovely. I wish I was you, because I am quite nervous about this. You know, first rendezvous is always a nervous little mission, I think, because you often don't have the tech that you'd really want. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So we can see that's coming down, and right, we're going to stop it there. Oh, within 200 meters. If I can do just a tiny little burst. Nope, that's actually made it worse. And now everything's going crazy, so turn that off. I wonder if we've got any... we don't have the ability. So what we'll do is we're going to wait until we get near there, and then we'll start refining it a little bit. So we can turn the RCS off now. We can actually also check that we have the life support to do this, because I have not checked this. Yeah, we've still got electric charge for 18 hours. Now, interestingly, I underestimated how much food and water we have. Must remember that. So we can actually increase the electric charge in this capsule, and it'll be fine. And with this service module here, yeah, that would be good to do. I might think about changing that to deep space, because it will use less electricity, and then will actually give us more electricity long term. It's a good point, actually. Right. So now we're going to come over here, and I like to bring myself to sort of here. You'll actually see we've got a 29 kilometer one there, so if we mess this up, we've still got something to work with. So we're going to warp to there. Right. And now we're going to come back onto here. We don't need to worry too much about what's going on. Right. Now it should be behind us. It should be approaching from the rear. I just can't see it yet. So 10 minutes. 7 minutes. It's going to be, and you see we've got it on target velocity already, so it's going to be 40 meters per second. Now, we can go target, and we can go target positive and negatives, and that's relative velocity and stuff like that. I tend to actually turn off that, go into retrograde on target, and then we'll turn on our RCS. There we go. And that's gonna position us. So now we're gonna see where it is. Where we can actually, it should point relative to where it's coming from. And now we're on the dark side, because that's what we always do when we are doing things like this. Right, where are we? Where are you? Oh, actually, I tell a lie. It's there, isn't it? Is that it? No. There it is. Because we're coming from a higher orbit, we're actually going to run past it. So there we go. So now we're actually looking, and I'm thinking, I've got a minute before I have to do this burn, but this burn is probably going to take a minute. Well, last one was what, 40 seconds, and this is slightly more, so we should probably fire up some engines. There we go. That's better. So we're gonna let it do, and I'm keeping an eye on this. This is going to be important for us. We can actually see how close we're going to get. You can see this time to meeting is actually closing in, so I can actually let that go. What I can actually do is turn this off, and I can do this, and I can do a little like that, and this is a little cheaty, just bringing it in like this. Oh, the other way. Right, we've actually gone too far now, so I want to just do that down to there, and I do a little bit of, oh, too far the other way. I want to be here. That's where I want to be. All right. Oh no. All right. Now we're going to retro again, and I want to be there. There. There we go. Bring it down. And if we can get it down to there, that's good enough. Now I'm going to go into retrograde properly. So what I was actually doing was I was looking on here. I actually got confused for a second there. That's my retrograde marker. if I look at where my target is, where my retrograde is, and then I basically extrapolate a line and I go beyond it, I can actually push my retrograde towards my target marker. And that's what I was actually doing there. So I don't have the ability to translate properly, but what I do have is the ability to fire my engines at an angle, so I can rotate the craft. Now I do need to be aware of RCS. Right, so we're down to, we're not at 50% yet, so that's okay, that's not a problem. Right, we're coming in at 7 meters per second, nice and easy, so we are actually perfect for this. I'm hoping that we can get nice and close. This is going to be wonderful. In fact, I'm tempted to fast forward, but I have noticed that when you do that in this game, things messed up, and I'm still paranoid. If you've been watching my British series, I have had so many problems with time warping, sending things all over the place. It's actually cost me so much delta V having to fix things. So space station rendezvous, for example, absolute nightmare. Although that might be spoilers, I can't remember how far you've got with it. So yeah, that's it's an absolute nightmare. Right, so we're going to be in 17 seconds, 10 seconds. So what I'll do is I'll just fire a bit more, slow it down, there we go. Down to 5, down to 5. And of course these little 1 kilonewton thrusters are perfect for this. Absolutely perfect. So let's actually check the contract. What does it say? First rendezvous. There we go. How close do I need to be to it? Oh, we have done it. So there we are. Isn't that nice? Now, the rule, of course, with space travel is that, you know, any two objects that are next to each other in orbit will always drift apart from each other or hit each other and then drift apart from each other, because you can never be perfect and space is a big place. We are now next to, can we actually jump to Luna? We can. Hello, Luna. It's been a while. How are you? Yes, wonderful. All right. So, Krishnova has completed the first rendezvous. What we could do is actually we could celebrate. We could actually get her to just put the nose down a bit. Could she put the nose down a bit? Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Point at the craft. You know, there is an easier way of doing this actually. You know what? There is an easier way. So just target the target. There we go. There we are. And you'll see, just by doing that off-center thrust, we're actually now drifting, which is quite interesting. Right, so Krishnova, we're going to turn that off because I'm concerned that you are going to use all of your RCS off. We have, how much left do we have? We've got a bit. Interestingly, HTP is running out quicker than helium. That's nice. Right, it is going to be time soon for us to return you. So I'm going to actually... I'm going to do that now, actually. Where are we? We're right on the dark side, so we're going to splash down in the light if I do it now. That's nice. That's good. Right. So we're going to knock us off target, put us onto orbit. We're going to put us into retrograde. We're going to turn our RCS on. Now, the first thing to do here is to make sure that when you thrust, you're not going to fire yourself into whatever you just rendezvoused with, because that is a traditional problem. So there we go. We've rendezvoused without having translation controls, which is often a little harder. Right, let's fire. Oh, by the way, I will point out to you, on this craft we have no internal RCS because I didn't do it. So this one will actually should load up for everybody. However, there is conformal decals. If you would like me to create craft that do not have conformal decals and internal RCS, just for helping you out, please put a comment down below. I will make them available. I'll put them on the Discord and things like that. Right, we're going to fire some engines, I think. So firing our engines, we're just going to bring this down and then we'll come out of orbit. Right, so I have fast forwarded. So we did our burn, our retrograde burn, took it down to 60 kilometers per second. I didn't think you needed to see that because I didn't know how long it was going to take. It took about a minute or something like that. And we are ready to return now. So Krishnova is going to come down. We need to, first of all, arm the parachutes, and then I need to move this. I put this at the top just in case I hit staging by accident. So we're going to do that, get rid of that, and we are ready to return now. So, yeah, let us speed on to... Thank you, I didn't touch that. Right. We can turn our RCS off for now. We don't need it firing. We've got a little bit of a roll there, which I'm not a big fan of, but we'll live with it. So what we can do is... a little bit of thing, surface velocity negative. We can put our roll, yaw and everything on, and then we can turn our RCS on, and that should work. Hello? Are we out of RCS? We're now out of RCS. Okay. So we had slightly too little, and I think that final orientation there just burned up all of the RCS when we were going speedy up. So that's annoying. So Crash Nova does not have RCS for this. So yeah, this could be fun. If we had an offset center of mass, that would be a problem for this craft. However, I don't believe the Mercury did. It is a ballistic re-entry, so you know what? It's going to be fun. So Crash Nova, you're not coming in too hot. I mean, 199 kilometers up is not a bad one, actually. So we'll just speed on through that. So the parachutes are armed, the craft is ready to go, and this is coming towards the end of the episode. So I would really love to hear what you think to do next. I think we have a satellite contract that I want to complete. I don't know whether I'll do that in a full episode or whether we'll do a bit of it somewhere else. I think next episode I really want to look at the moon. I think I want to go and try and land something on the moon. We've put things in orbit, sort of just, but we have a new launch vehicle with a bit more payload to orbit now. So I think it's probably time that we considered maybe putting something on the surface of the moon, or at least trying to. You know, we can always just try and put something in orbit first, little trial run, and then do that. I think this launch vehicle has the capability to do that. I would like to get to Gemini. I'd like to get to 2 crew capsule, because that opens up a whole new raft of science, which would get us maybe about 100 science points, which would be really nice. That's also the reason why I want to go to the moon. And money on the moon. We also have Mars and Venus to look at, and of course those missions will need to be set off well before we actually accept them. I think you can accept them after you've set the craft off. I'll need to check whether you need a new craft or not. Those we'll have to look at. I'll have to look at avionics and power and solar power and communication for that. So that's something we can look at in the next episodes. But tell me, what would you like to see? Would you like to see me build some building where I'm actually showing you why I'm making choices that I am? Do you like just seeing bits of the flights? Do you like the fact that sometimes we're gonna split flights up a little bit? This one I split up just because it seemed logical. We've got a new launch vehicle, and then we've also got the rendezvous component. I didn't want to make it a really long episode. So yeah, it'd be great to get your feedback. So from me, until next time, have a great one.